So I hear, you take a lot of accountability for your team. You put them through training, and these are all great stuff. And, clearly your background as a sergeant with the Marines, that leadership comes through. And then I also heard how when you worked in the corporate and you started learning other things. So you have a theory, this process improvement theory. I'm really intrigued by that. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Actually, I know a little bit about it, but explain that to the audience to help them understand. And I'm hoping we'll have other VSOs that'll hear this as well, and maybe something they could take into consideration. So talk about that.
So when I was in the oil fields and learned the Lean Sigma process, it's a constant evaluation of processes to streamline them and make them better. Right? If something doesn't make sense to me, I'm just not going to do it because that's the way it's always been done.
Right. Right.
Like I got there and you start looking at stuff and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Can you tell me the process for this? And they'd be like, yeah. And they write it down and I look at it and I said, is this? And I start looking and I start messing and trying to cut out steps. We're seeing if I can combine steps to make it a little easier, right? Mm-hmm. And you try and shorten that up. Like recently people have been complaining that they've had a hard time reaching my office, trying to get us to make an appointment. Okay, how do I make that easier? I worked with the IT department. Now, go on our county website, schedule your own appointment with me, please. Like, pick a date and time, a service that works best for you. Let's cut out the phone call. Just go out there and go ahead and do it, right?
Exactly.
You can't get with me. Let's do it that way. We're all digital now. We're completely digital. We do not use paper in my office unless it's absolutely necessary. We're faxing or doing something. So that's timeliness, saving costs. I'm saving my county money on paper. So on paper and supplies. So I'm going to ask them, hey, can I have some money for that? They're like, oh, yeah, you're saving money there. Go ahead, right? So, and then I get an opportunity to do that. We just purchased money from the CARES Act to do the COVID relief. And we got ourselves a couple iPads now.
Cool.
So now we're going to be able to do outreach because we have a data system that we use to file our claims. And we're able to go out and do that, collect digital signatures. So even if I'm working from home and talking to somebody, I can say, hey, you on your smartphone? And we type in finger.ink and hit enter. It's a little keypad's going to show up. I'm going to give you a 6-digit code. Turn your phone sideways, sign your name. And my assistant, they don't even have to come in my office anymore.
Wow, exactly.
And then I set up a virtual VSO as well. It's nothing more than a glorified Zoom meeting, but for our younger veterans, right? It's something I'm going to keep forever, right? Our younger veterans who are working, struggling, feeding kids, and can't find that time for an hour to come into my office.
Right.
Here you go. Virtual VSO. Hit me up. You know what I mean? But face to face. It's going to stay forever. It's just constantly looking at how you can streamline. It's something as simple as we don't order STRs from my office. It's gonna complicate the process, especially. And I want to stress this right now. So if a veteran comes in and is thinking of filing a claim, doesn't have their service treatment records, you're going to put a request in. It's going to go to the National Archives, where they're on a skeleton crew because nobody can be around COVID. This thing is the monstrosity you've ever seen. And scan it all in eventually, and then send it to you, and then put it on a pile. And then when you go to file your claim, the VA is going to request those same records. And who knows when your records are going to get off that pile and put back to where they need to be.
Right.
Right. And it's happened too many times. I just said, stop. Because once we file the claim, I'm going to have access to your files, your claim. I'm going to have them in 2 weeks. I'm going to have that. We'll print them up for you. Here you go. We don't need to do that. Right? That's what it is.
It's good that you can be able to virtually work with somebody because, when you go to VA, they'll compensate you for travel, but you go to your VSO, there's no compensation. So, so yeah, let's figure out a way I don't have to go to the VSO office every single time. So that's amazing. You said something earlier about budget and, going to the county. So do you have to go in front of your county supervisors from time to time and present your department, request money and that kind of thing? Is that part of your responsibility?
No, so every November, I choose November because it's the popular time, and I don't want to do it during budget season to make it look like. I just go and present to them on what the VSO is doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I do. I don't ask. I don't ever go to the board asking them. I use my chain of command. I'm strictly there to let them know that I am doing my job representing them. Because honestly, it's a public office. The taxpayers pay my salary. I got to take that seriously.
Right.
Y'all pay my salary. I better tell my bosses that I'm trying as hard as I can for y'all. And they seem to like it, right? Right now, they seem to like it.
Well, if you didn't, I'm sure the vets will say something.
Yeah,
They're gonna say something.
They bypass the chain of command. They
right. It's funny how vets who know that better than anybody will do that. So actually, that's a great transition to my last question: the quality improvement and the monitoring of VSO. So, talk about that. Like, where's the accountability at? And clearly, your team is doing a great job. And I've heard various other offices are pretty much amazing. But then you hear some that are out there that are not doing so well. How do they get that check and balance of making sure that they're not dropping the ball for those vets that's in their area? Who's watching that? What is there a government entity, a private entity? Is it VA? Is it the supervisors? Where's the quality improvement? Where's the monitoring?
That's the question. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like to say the California VSOs are the standard bearer of the nation. I'd like to say all California's VSOs are the best in the world, and I would be lying to you, right? The fact is there's a constant turnover in this role because there's a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
I take it seriously, and I want to make sure that every veteran in the state, that's why I put myself on the training team for the association, so I get to teach and do things. Quick story, one time I wanted to be a firefighter. I met my wife. She was like, "You should be a firefighter." I said, "Yeah, that's good." So I went to EMT class. I want to be an EMT. You got to be an EMT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I found out the firefighters are only getting paid $10 extra a month to teach this class. And I went up to him. And I said, "You only doing this for $10 a month? What are you doing? Why? What's going on?" Like, I was totally curious. I said, "Well, you remember about 40% of what you're taught. You remember about 60 to 70% of what you read, but you remember 100% of what you teach. I do this to stay good at my profession. And that has always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to put myself in a position to teach what I do, so that way I stay on top of what I'm doing, right? Because if somebody calls me out and I'm not right, I'm going to double check this, right, and get it and figure it out, because it's my job to stay on top of everything, and that's the best way for me to stay on top, right? But yeah, no, it's up to each county. We're just it's association of all of ours. Like, I'm an employee of Nevada County. We have our little function. We work with CalVet. CalVet does a good job of overseeing us. We have a data system we use called VetPro. We submit claims. You can submit them directly to the VA. There's also a function that allows you to submit them to CalVet. They look at it first, and then they submit it to the VA. I make mistakes just like everybody else. Everybody in my office sends their claims through CalVet to have them double checked before they get sent over. That's a quality process improvement that my office will always follow. It's just another set of eyes, and sometimes they catch us, right?
So why CalVet if you guys are in Nevada? I mean,
I'm Nevada County.
Oh, Nevada County. Got it. You're still in California. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm Nevada County. Quick study lesson. Nevada City was the first Nevada County, and then the state of Nevada. All right.
Gotcha.
All right.
That's right. Right. That's right. Well, hey, you know what, David? This was amazing. I actually am sure I'm going to get a lot of questions. I hope we can stay in touch because when this airs, I'm probably going to get hit up from vets with all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to first tell them, reach out to your local VSO. We don't want all these people from all over the state calling you.
Hey, no, I don't. Hey, I'm not. There's no. You can read. Hey, I'll let everybody know. Go to mynevadacounty.com. Find Veteran Services. You can go in there. You can get our stuff. If I don't, we help. We're the only county. We're the only county entity that's allowed to help anybody. You don't have to be a county resident. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Our job is to help veterans. We need to help veterans.
Understood.
The VA system's down. Don't everybody like. I've been stupid enough to give out my desk phone on the radio. I'm not gonna do that today. There's too many people.
Exactly. I actually had somebody do that. And I think it was, speaking of Chris Starling, I think it was him. I think he had gave out his number.
Hey, you know what? I can't let that devil dog stand me up, dude. All right, here you guys go. 530-265-1446. Okay, I can't let that devil dog outdo me.
Oh wow. I got Marine against Marine. All right. Yeah, check out the show. You'll like it. Chris is a lot of fun. He's became a good friend, and what he's doing with Empower is amazing. So you got to check that out. And I know my listeners, they already probably absorbed all the stuff he said. It was actually one of the really fun shows, just like this one. So Chris, before we go, I'm gonna tell you, David, got Chris in my mind. Look at that. Right. David, what any last words for the audience? Anything you want to put out there other than your phone number and email?
Hey. There's a couple of claims I want to talk to everybody about, right?
Yeah.
Our older veterans that are service connected for hearing loss, that are developing dementia. Hearing loss in every human being will lead to dementia because they're stuck in their head. They're not talking. They're not incorporating with the world. They're stuck in their head. It's deterioration. There's many medical studies. If you know an older veteran who is service connected for hearing loss, it's time to get in. File a claim for dementia secondary to hearing loss. I'm a big fan of secondary claims. You're 40% for your back, you got to be depressed. Your knees hurt so bad you can't do things. There's always a way to find a way to get you service connected. All right. And if you want to talk, invite me back one day to talk about our Thailand service members in the Vietnam era and how they're getting service connected. I am more than welcome anytime to talk about any subject that you would like me to talk about with you, or if any of your guests want to hear something. I never say no, Dr. Bryant.
All right. And I'm going to hold you to that because that's actually, one of the hottest topics and questions that I get relates to medical, relates to compensation. That's why I was so excited to get you on the show, at least to get us started. And so absolutely, I have, and I'm probably going to, give it out a little early, but we're putting a lot of groups together, experts together. So we have group topics on our show. We're changing the format a little bit of the show because it's just so much information that we have to cover. So we'll talk offline, and definitely I'll hold you to that. So anything else you want to add?
No, I just really want to thank you for your time. Once again, David West, mynevadacounty.com, Veteran Services, 530-265-1446. Get in touch with me. I won't regret it. I won't. I promise. I thank you for your time, and Semper Fi.
All right. Cool. All right. Once again, audience, this is an amazing show. Credit to our guest, David West. Look, the goal here is to ensure we maintain a level of communication to support one another. You guys have listened to the show over and over, and I hear your comments. Understand your next steps. We have the resources. We have the experts. We're here to help one another navigate through these challenging situations. So to all my veterans and families out there, be blessed and know that I am speaking to you. But more importantly, someone is always listening, and that someone is not just me. That is my show. My name is Dr. Bryant. Thank you for listening. Mr. West, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Can I just say one last thing real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Because it's COVID, if you have not heard from somebody that you love, you respect, and you haven't heard from them in a while, pick up the phone and give them a call. You might be the person that pulls them out of a dark spot. All right. There's a lot of this going on. If you haven't heard from somebody that you care about, or even somebody that you hate, just call them up and make sure they're doing all right. All right. We can't be losing anybody during these times anymore. Okay?
That's right. We don't want the statistic going up any more than it already has. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's our show. Nothing else to follow on that. Everybody be blessed and take care.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dr. Bryant Speaks. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please locate others on all the popular podcast channels and YouTube under Dr. Bryant Speaks, and go to the website at DrBryantSpeaks.com for the latest info.